I just wonder how you unpack what we've just seen here at Old Trafford tonight.
I think it was a fun game for everyone at home. I think we started really well. We did a very good first half. The result should be completely different. And then, again, I think 6 minutes of the second half, similar to Nottingham. We lost the concentration, and they scored 2 goals. But we managed to get back to the game. We scored 2 goals again, and then we have to finish the game. Just a throw in our possession. We need to close to think about not to go again, but to take calm and to close the game. But in the end, it was a fun game.
Did you think when you went 4-3 up, that was it? Because I saw you celebrate wildly as well as much as the players.
Yes, because I saw the effort of the players, I saw the effort of the fans, and in the end of the game, when you make 4-3, I have the feeling that we will continue to push to score another one. So we tried, but in the end, it was a draw.
But the substitutions that you made as well, and you kept the formation fluid, but we did see that back four that so many people have spoken about. What do you take out of this tonight to go forward?
The same, a lot of good things, but a lot of things to work. We are not winning games sometimes in the details. It's not about because it's a back 4, back 3, back 5. It's the details that we need to work, understand of the momentums of the game, and you need to be more clinical because again today against a very good team we create so many chances to win the game, and you should have won the 3 points.
And also when you talk about the 3 points, we spoke in the build-up to this game last Friday, about whether the glass is half full or half empty, and the fact that you've dropped 7 points now in the last 3 at home, I'm guessing that's the one that annoys you the most.
Yeah, of course. When you win away, you should win at home. But we need to focus on the performance today was different from the last 2 at home. So that is also a point that we take pay attention, and it's completely different. The result is the same, is a 1 point, is frustrating, but the performance is different.
And how do you go about now finding a solution as well? Because obviously you're going to lose 2 more players to AFCON tonight after this game, and without 3 centre-backs as well, it's sort of problematic for you, isn't it?
But that is the fun part of being a manager. You will try to find the solutions with the players that we have. So after last season, I think we are ready to cope with whatever they present in front of us. So let's move on. And we already knew we had some injuries. All the teams in England had injuries. We will try to find a way to score goals in a different way.
Ruben, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Clearly disappointed and frustrated, having scored 4, but conceding 4 as well. Can you see the positives for Manchester United in this performance, Olivier?
Well, the confidence for the strikers, but obviously it's hard to win a game when you concede 4 goals. I think they, as he said before the game, they need to be more efficient up front, but you need to be more efficient in your box. That's where you win games, in the opponent box and in your box. So they need to be more stronger, but it's not about only the defense, it's the whole team. And but I've seen great things. I mean, they created so many chances, and I really enjoy watch the game. But yeah, small margins, I'm not sure, I don't know. When you're at home and you win 4-3 and 5 minutes to go, you need to put the game, close the game, as he said. And he should be very, very frustrated.
He clearly is. He says it's not about the tactics and the formation, it's the details, which is costing, it seems, Manchester United time and time again right now, Jamie. And this inability to keep clean sheets is really hurting any progress.
Yes, it's a big problem for them. Now, they had problems at both ends of the pitch last season. We highlighted before the game they're improving in attack. We saw that again tonight. Some of the attacking players for Manchester United were fantastic. They had a lot of young defenders out there as well tonight, which didn't help.
You're on Aiden Heaven, yeah.
Yeah. And listen, I've been there as a young defender. You make a mistake more often than not, it ends up in the back of your goal, and that was the case tonight. Because even though the game's finished 4-4 and Bournemouth probably should have won it at the end, Manchester United were by far the better team. And that was the first time in a long time, or certainly the first time under Ruben Amorim, when I've felt like I was watching what Manchester United should be, where it's just wave after attack, wave after wave, there's counter-attacks, and almost the opposition feel like they can't keep them out, and you're getting sucked back. I've been there as a defender. You're getting sucked back into that box in front of the Stretford end. You can't get out. And then it was felt inevitable when it went 3-3, I think, that United would go and make it 4-3. I just felt that, you'd seen that story happen so often before as players. We've seen that before, haven't we, Olivier?
And I think we need to give credit to that team, Bournemouth, who didn't close the game and who attack like they were at home, like they play with freedom, like fearless. And we need to give credit to this team, which was really efficient up front. I mean, they to compare with the XG, I think they made the most of it.
They certainly did. Clean sheets, 1 still this season, and only 6 in the entire time that Ruben Amorim has been in charge of Manchester United, 43, and that is right up there with, unfortunately, some of the worst of the clean sheet ratios that we've seen in the Premier League across a 40-game minimum. And I suppose the big thing that's striking when you look at the graphic, Jamie, it's not so much the managers, it's the clubs that they're in charge of.
Yeah, and listen, Ozzy Ardiles almost became famous, didn't he? For the front five and not really caring about defending so much at that stage. But for Manchester United to be there, that's awful, really. And also what makes it worse is Ruben Amorim's system. We talk about it a lot, I know we do. But more often than not, teams who play sort of a back three or a back five, they get pushed back. Maybe they struggle to actually create or be on the front foot, but they can make it difficult for the opposition. So that needs to improve very quickly.
First manager to score, or his team to have scored 3 goals at least in 3 successive visits to Old Trafford. On the previous 2, 3-0. Had a disappointment when the referee finally blew the whistle for full time. Does that kind of game, Olivier, make you miss English football even more?
I miss Premier League for that kind of game, and it was really exciting. I mean, for the fans, it's the best football we can have on a Monday night.
Absolutely. Like a boxing match, Jamie, punch for punch. And we have to remind everyone of what actually happened in the first half, which seems a long time ago. It felt for a while Manchester United were in control of this game, particularly in the first half.
I think it's the best I've seen Manchester United play, certainly in the first half under Amorim. Maybe going back to the first game of the season against Arsenal, maybe. But I thought Manchester United were absolutely fantastic, especially in that first 25, 30 minutes. It was almost a throwback to Manchester United under Alex Ferguson and Gary Neville playing. Fast attacking football, people being energetic, making runs forward, being positive, being on the front foot, winning the ball back early. Lots of that. And as you see there, numbers in the box, a cross coming in, there's 4 players in the box. Causes commotion there. Cunha was fantastic in the game throughout. And you've got one wing back, or was he a wing back? We're not quite sure, were we, when we watched through the game, whether it was the wing back system. At times it felt like a 4-3-3, but there was a real interchange in the positions, systems, and as I said, there was intensity about them. But as well as they played,
they just couldn't shake Bournemouth off, Olivier, and this was the theme of the game. Every time United got in front, Bournemouth had something to say.
Yeah, they were always, on the go, especially on this counter-attack. You can see it's strange that no defenders is going across to meet Semenyo run. I don't. In that kind of situation, what would have you do, Jamie? Because you can see Mason Mount is asking one of the defender to come over.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen. And Semenyo makes hay. And then just before half-time, as Manchester United were really devastated to have looked like they were going in at 1-1, managed to get themselves in front.
Yeah, well, Casemiro's record since he come to Manchester United, scoring from set pieces, is absolutely fantastic. He's a real threat in the box, especially in the air. And he gets another goal there. And yeah, it's a bad mistake from the goalkeeper, but Manchester United deserve to be at least 1 goal in front at half-time. So it was thoroughly deserved going in.
2-1 at half-time, and 37 seconds into the second half, when we were wondering what Bournemouth's response would be, we found out. What a brilliant response, Olivier.
Yeah, because they stay in the game, you know. They believe in them and always put pressure. You can see how compact the team is coming high all together, and they get the ball.
But it's a transition, isn't it?
Yeah.
Olivier? And this is a problem for Manchester United.
Yeah,
Look at that finish.
It's quite simple and efficient. I mean, they get the ball back. 3 seconds later, they are in the box. So.
And this is a striker in Evan Nielsen, Olivier, who has scored 1 in his last 16. It didn't look like that, did it?
No, he looks like in full confidence. He made a good run. The pass is in a good timing, in a good space, and he finished well from the left foot. So I'm happy for him because I know how tough it is. Like in period, you don't score.
So 2-2, and then Bournemouth have got the wind in their sails. And look at Tavernier drive for the entire team, Jamie.
But I just mentioned before what Casemiro gives you in terms of set-piece-wise, but this is the problem when you play Casemiro and certainly Bruno together, especially when you're playing against a team who's so good on the transition. It's far too easy to get at the back three. And that's what we saw there. He gives the foul away. And the goalkeeper, listen, a goalkeeper would know better than me what it should be. Is he a little bit deep because he's standing right on his line? That's something I'd look at, but just doesn't react well enough at all. Just looks a little bit deep to me, and he just can't seem to get across. But even though I think he's still maybe get a hand on that.
It was at this time that people started talking about Manchester United's famous home record at half-time when leading. They hadn't lost since 1984 against Ipswich. And was this going to be the day? Well, no, it wasn't, because Bruno Fernandes, among others, decided to have his say in the game. First time since 2012 that we've seen a direct free kick scored by both sides in the same game. What a strike, Jamie.
Amazing. Listen, he's just a brilliant player, isn't he? You know, he has his critics, but it's not for his football. I mean, you think of the goals and the assists he's got. And if he had a few more trophies, if he won a Premier League or maybe a Champions League with Manchester, we're probably talking about one of the greatest sort of foreign players, certainly to come to our shore. But because he hasn't quite got that, but his numbers stack up as much as anybody's.
So 3 apiece. Could anybody find the winning goal? Olivier, Manchester United struck first by another player who desperately needed a goal, Matheus Cunha.
Yeah, that's done by Mbeumo. After Sesko, I'm not sure what he wanted to do, but the defender...
To be fair, just with the slip at the wrong moment.
Yeah, he should have done better, and I feel sorry for him because he's French. But it's tough because he has to take care. He had to take care about the second post also, and I think came too quick. And
but it can't finish though from Cunha, wasn't it?
Well, it's good finish, but you can see the keeper is not so far from the ball. Huh? Look, he anticipates on a
but that wasn't
first
the end
post.
of the scoring, Jamie.
No, it wasn't. And you think Luke Shaw's probably involved. He takes the throw in there again. There, Manchester United lose it, and it's another transition, and somebody's running at them. Listen, that's the name of the game for Bournemouth. They're really good at that. But that first touch was absolutely fantastic.
Olivier, does the first touch make the goal?
Yes, most of the time. Control is so important, especially when you are in a tiny space to finish in a box. But the fighting spirit, if I can say, of 1 time, 2 time, and then see, he almost lost the ball, but you know, last touch he just flicked it to the striker and. Bit of.
Can you do that, Olivier?
Not really. Not at my advanced age.
Brilliant that was, wasn't it, from Eli Krupi Jr., who we've seen scoring goals already this season when he stepped into the side, the control, the finish. with his first touches.
I hope you never saw that at home.
Whoops, I should have stood in front of him. But there was still time for a winning goal, wasn't there? We played 10 minutes of stoppage time as well in the game, and it felt like if anyone was going to win it, Jamie, it was going to be Bournemouth.
Yeah, it was, and there was a couple of opportunities to Brooks. He's a really good player. He's been a brilliant player, as I said, for Bournemouth over a few years now. And that is one of them when you say if it goes anywhere else either side of the goalkeeper, it does go in because you can see he's really desperate.
Needed your height there.
He's always covering the cross, isn't he?
What a cross also from Alex Jimenez, who did the assist on the previous goal.
That's a Giroud header, isn't it? That near post.
Yeah, I think he missed 10 centimetres.
Brilliant ball inside from David Brooks, wasn't it?
What a touch with the outside of the left
And
foot.
almost no-look pass from Samir.
Jamie's reliving it.
I mean, this could have been the greatest Monday night football of all time. I mean, if that had gone in.
Oh, it's just inches, isn't it, from Krupp? He just can't quite reach the rebound. But that could have gone anywhere, Olivier.
Yeah.
He was in the right place to try and get his foot on it, but it wasn't to be. 4 apiece. It finished between.
Marcus, how do you sum that one up?
I think it's one the fans will definitely enjoy, but for us on the pitch, it was a bit frustrating. And in both halves for us, I think we started the first half very slow and played in their favour a lot. But we stayed in the game in the first half, and the second half we came out. We knew what we needed to do in our performance, and I think we did that. But then we conceded some sloppy goals and make it tough for ourselves again. But we dug in and got that equaliser, which helped us towards the end of the game.
The start of the second half, first of all, to get yourself back level, but then to score twice in those 7 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing for us on the pitch. You know, we knew well, every team knows when they go behind at half-time, they have to come out the blocks very, very fast in the second, and that's exactly what we did, and we put ourselves in a great position to go on to do better in the game. But it's just unfortunate that we conceded such a sloppy goal, so something to reflect on.
But when you say you put yourself in such a good position as well, you put yourself in a good position to almost take the winner right at the very end.
Yeah, I know. We finished the game strong. I feel like if there was anyone else going to go and score in that game, it was going to be us. So we can take the positives towards the end, but we'll reflect on it and see what we can improve on.
I know that you're in this winless run, as they call it, but a lot of people have said the performances haven't matched the results. So what do you take from this one tonight going forward? I
think we take a lot of positives from this result. It's a very tough place to come with a team who's in form, and they're a lot different side to last season, and they've got a lot of quality within their team. But we know that we're starting to perform to what we were last season in the way we approach games and the way we handle our business on the pitch as well.
Well, for the last 2 seasons, you've scored 3. Tonight, you've scored 4. And Marcus, you are player of the match as well. I haven't got enough hands really to give you this, but would you like to take it off me? Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Well, he's ended it smiling. It's only the second 4-4 at Old Trafford in Premier League history. But these two have ordered me to move quickly on from that game, Manchester United and Everton. Let's move into the start of the second half. He talked about their fast start. 38 seconds into the period, they were level.
Yeah, before many people probably got to the seats really and got settled for the second half, you know, and it was just it was kind of so simple, really, you know. Going short from the goal kick to then go long, I think you can see Heaven steps into midfield, and that's a theme of United's build-up, really, and then that leaves Joao and Heaven on when they lose the ball and the second ball, they're quite far apart, and Evan Nielsen just gets right in between them, and they kind of never recover from being so far apart from the goal kick to start with. Having said that, it's a fantastic pass, it's a great first touch, and it's a really good finish. So from Bournemouth's point of view, what a start to the second half, and it just, well, the game was already alight, but that even took it to another level right after half-time.
Certainly did. We just heard from Marcus Taven. It was his run, actually, initially here, Michael, before it was involved in 3-2.
It was very direct, powerful run, and not only that, but you know, once he got to the edge of the box, he sort of had the awareness: should I pass it? Felt a little touch, went down, and then this is just a well-executed free kick. However, I would more lean towards the poor defending from Manchester United. Look at Bruno there, telling his goalkeeper, get across, get across. We've already got this side of the goal locked off. This is the side of the goal you need to protect. Now, we question whether there should be a gap there, Michael, because that just gives you a target to hit. But still, the goalkeeper's got to protect that side.
It's almost too straightforward, wasn't it? You give him a pathway there to pass it through. You're either blocking it off, Bruno and Cunha's either blocking it off together, or the goalkeeper's got to cover that side, and in the end, none of them did that, and they passed it.
If they were together, you could sort of justify him being more central, couldn't you?
Yeah.
But once they split and give them a channel to hit the ball, but he's got to get across. He
He's
has
almost
to get
invited
across.
through.
Yeah, I mean, and see, the funny thing is, Bruno, we'll go and see in a moment, Bruno takes a free, and he does exactly the same. He goes to goalkeeper's side, and that's what everybody's doing more and more now because of what's the player that lies under the wall called again? Draft excluder.
Draft excluder.
Right, because of the invention of the draft excluder, everyone can jump, so you get so much more height now. It's virtually impossible to go that side. So everybody's going keeper's side nowadays. Now, at least Bruno hit it right so hard, but that should have been saved, I feel.
First team in top-flight history to score 3 or more goals in 3 successive seasons at Old Trafford. Quite extraordinary for Bournemouth. They were then pegged back, as Michael says, by a brilliant free kick. But before we see it, what about the awarding of it against Adam Smith, who was very frustrated at the time?
Yeah, I totally get it. I mean, you're looking at it, it's when you see it again, it's pretty clearly it's not a deliberate, it's not an obvious handball, it's not come off his hand to start with, it's more shoulder kind of onto the face, if anything. But if I was him, I'd be bitterly disappointed with that. I mean, the referees ended up giving it. You can't do anything about it by that point, and it was a crucial decision in the end. And Bruno's eyes lit up at that to have it. That's kind of his distance, perfect distance, if you like. The goalkeeper taking a small step to his right to think about Bruno going over the wall, and as we've already said, more and more are going to the goalkeeper's side to start with. I mean, he's put it right, it's coming in off the underside of the bar. Bruno couldn't have struck it any better. It's an unbelievable, he's done it many times before, it's what he does so well. But even without the goalkeeper's small step to the right, it's taking him out of the game.
You love that free kick.
Oh, wow. Pace, dip, I mean, everything. That was a fabulous free kick, but it should never have been one. As you say, it should never have been. I mean, a foot away from him, even if it hits him down here, when you kick it into someone when you're only a yard, that far away, then it's very harsh. And his arms weren't flailing, and it was probably too high anyway. It was a really poor decision. But little things make so much difference. Like, people don't want to see people exaggerating a fall or claiming a free kick when it. If Bruno Fernandes doesn't really go mad when that ball hits it, he never gets a foul. That's the referee thing. Oh, I didn't see that properly. I'll give it because of the reaction of players.
It's human reaction.
It's human reaction. And, these little things make a massive... If Bruno doesn't do that, if he's not sort of living on the edge and being a little bit naughty and whatever, then, they don't get that. They don't score that goal. So these little... I was going to say dark arts, but it's a bit strong. But he was streetwise, let's say, in winning that free kick.
129 seconds later, they scored again. As you said, a little bit of luck defensively, but Cunha with a lovely finish.
Yeah, he took it well. Something he's obviously been after, and he wants a little bit more of scoring the goals. And I mean, there's a little bit of movement. Cunha makes a run through the middle, and Bournemouth does very well. Šeško down the left-hand side sees probably Ahmad at the back post. Really, he's trying to pick him out. I mean, yeah, if again Bournemouth really to be in a position, then you've got to deal with that. It goes with left foot outside the left foot. Really, it's a right-footed clearance because you can't really get any power on the clearance with your left foot. But Cunha's there again, middle of goal. We've said that about his movement, and ended up in there for the first goal. Missed it. Ahmad scores, and he gets his goal then. Finishes off with a little dance.
Well, they led for just 5 minutes. It was that type of night, Michael.
It was, and you know what? If the game had continued going, it was Bournemouth that were getting the better chances in the last few minutes. That's a lovely finish. I'm not sure how much he knew about the pass. I think it was almost a bit of a deflection or a bit of a...
Ahmad actually does pretty well to recover.
He gets back. He sort of knocks it onto his foot, doesn't he? He knocks it onto Ahmad's foot, and it just goes perfectly in the path of Krupi. And lovely touch, takes it away from danger, away from the defender.
Disappointed though, because that's a similar one to the first, the one right after half-time, where it's passed through the middle of the centre-halves. And, you want to be a little bit tighter there. It almost was a little bit too much space.
That is the goal that secured Bournemouth a point At 4-4, here's their manager, Andoni Iraola.
Andoni, you were playing down your chances pre-match tonight. Could you make sense of what's just happened out there?
No, difficult to explain. No, I think, I suppose for the neutrals has been a nice game. We've had everything. Moments where you think, okay, we're gonna lose. Moments where you think, okay, we have this one and we are comfortable. But even at the end, no, I think we've had in the last minutes the two clearest chances, no, from Brooksy both, and I was like, maybe we win this one. But it's just a point. It's not a lot in the standings, but I think we can take good and bad things from today.
What do you take from it then?
I think we are two teams that are we play quite aggressively, we're quite open, and probably today we've attacked much better than we've defended. I think the second goal is a cheap goal for us to concede. Just before half-time, the corner is not even a great header, and it's probably the goal where we can correct a lot of things, but also there are very good things because we've been dangerous and I think we had good faces on the ball, so a little bit of everything, yes.
They certainly did keep going. They got the 4-4, and as you say, right at the death, it was the visitors who had the opportunities potentially for 5-4.
Yeah, the game was just never over, was it? The way it was so topsy-turvy, you thought there could be a winner here, and the big chance came for Bournemouth. It was Brooks with a diving header. Lemons did really well to stick out a leg there. Again, heading it down the middle instead of trying to find a corner. But he was on the stretch. I don't say it's a huge miss, but it was a chance. And then again, this chance, I mean, he could have palmed that into a dangerous area, but Brooks with a couple of chances in the last minute or two.
So overall then, 43 Premier League games in the Ruben Amorim, just 6 clean sheets, 1 this season. They've conceded 68 goals. In fact, since he was appointed, only 3 teams have conceded more. So whilst you two are making the point, attacking-wise, lots of positives and more than shoots of recovery, that is an issue, quite clearly, that he still hasn't sorted out.
Yeah, it's an issue, and it's kind of what direction do you go, I suppose, as a coach, and do you shore it up? I mean, we spoke before the game about releasing Bruno that a little bit higher, and he's not playing with 2 holding midfielders, so is that leaving them a little bit more exposed through the middle of the pitch, like the first goal after half time when it drops down and Bruno's out the game and Casemiro's there on his own. But it's that conundrum of they look so good going forward. I do think personnel at the back will help them. That they're missing Maguire, they're missing De Ligt, they're missing big imposing centre half. So I do think that will have an impact now that they look more dangerous. I think with a big figure at the back that coming into a team that's dangerous, I think it'll be easier for them to fit. I mean, for half an hour or so, they looked fantastic at the start of the game. They defended really well. Bournemouth had 1 header. So there's the balance, you kind of go bum, bum, bum and concede 4 goals and you feel like you're back to square one.
You feel you can't have it both ways, can you? Because they've improved that dramatically in scoring. Only City now have scored more goals this season than Manchester United.
Well, exactly, yeah. Listen, everybody aims to have it both ways, obviously to hardly concede and to be scoring plenty of goals. But in general, you look at even the best team, you look at Arsenal, they're not massively free-flowing in terms of scoring loads and loads and loads of goals. Their defence is probably where they're strongest. But for Manchester United, if you watch them for the last 10 years, I mean, it's been so drab, it's been so bad, and to watch them attacking like that again is a breath of fresh air, I feel.
Here's the man with the conundrum, with the plan, Ruben Amorim.
Ruben, I just wonder how you unpack what we've just seen here at Old Trafford tonight.
I think it was a fun game for everyone at home. I think we started really well. We did a very good first half. The result should be completely different. And then, again, I think 6 minutes of the second half, similar to Nottingham. We lost the concentration, and they scored 2 goals. But we managed to get back to the game. We scored 2 goals again, and then we have to finish the game. Just a throw in our possession. We need to close to think about not to go again, but to take calm and to close the game. But in the end, it was a fun game.
Yeah, 6th and not 5th at the end. I mean, he's talking about concentration. Is it sometimes just a little bit of game management, a bit of know-how in that situation?
I think, Steve, they've gone down the direction of suddenly becoming really dangerous coming forward, and there's the excitement about it. I mean, I was watching it, I was getting excited. The players must feel that. The supporters, you could tell, feel that. So that's something that they need to then deal with emotionally. And when's the time to take that risk? When's the time to make that forward run? When's the time to actually, well, hang on, like the first goal, Semenyo's goal, and Luke gets pulled across, so thinking about playing forward and gets caught high, and then Semenyo's got that space to run into, and it's getting the balance, and they kind of got to learn, because they've probably not been that expansive, they've not been that fluid with the movements over a period of time. So the next step for them is, yeah, brilliant, do that and get ahead in the game, but you've got to manage the game as well, and picking their moments is the next step for them.
Thank you very much. So much to talk about. We've run out of time. Michaels, thank you very much indeed. That is the end of an extraordinary
weekend.
Let's
be honest, it was a draw. Which side do you think is walking away the happier, Tim?
Well, the body language tells us who the winner was.
Yeah.
It was dismay and bewilderment on the face of every Man United player and their manager. Bournemouth are happy. They're going over to the away supporters. They're smiling, they're cheering, they're joking around. I mean, this has got to stop for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to stop. I now, having seen that game, can totally say that I've switched my thought process and say Amorim has to change something tactically. Not everything, but he has to find a 6, and maybe that's Kobe Mainoo. He has to find a 6 that just sits and says, no matter what type of game this is, I don't care going that way. I just need to control tempo, because there are too many players out of position. If you're going to have both wing backs forward, and if you're going to have Bruno Fernandes, who gets into the attack, gets attracted to the ball, that's fine. And then every now and again, Casemiro runs out of play. You can't have that. Something has to change with him tactically. Adam, it's not an overhaul. It's a slight tweak, and that's what good managers do, because this is crazy.
Do you not think that's on the players, though? And the only reason I say that is because it's rinse and repeat every week with Manchester United. First half an hour, if games just lasted 30 minutes, Man United win the Premier League. No question about it. So they get that first goal, they start really well, but then they give time and they give room for the opposition to grow. And then what happens is they get stretched and then they just get picked off. So I don't know what you think, Tim, but do you not think that there needs to be players in that team that just go, hold on? Because I don't think the manager can do everything from the side. But you've got a Casemiro, you've got experienced players in that team that have got to say, listen, we've got to hold out here because we don't want to get caught. It's as though when they start to lose control, they want to gain it back even quicker and just go quick.
I do think, and I'll put a lot of responsibility on players. Yeah. But in this instance, if it's happening, rinse and repeat over and over again, then it's on the onus of the manager to say no. Because right now they accept, and here's what I wrote down in my notes: they just accept being praised for trying and running and for being exciting. Nobody wants that. They just want to win the football match. The supporters, the manager, want to win the football match. So these players are so conditioned to get praised for this wide open, chaotic style of football. It needs to be more contained. I think that's on the manager.
And one of the things that you look at as well, and Tim, obviously you will have had it at Manchester United, will have had it at Everton as well. There are very few leaders around now. So the importance of the manager is huge. There's no question about it. But as a player, you have to know when the tide is starting to turn. I didn't play in a team of this quality, but even in the teams that I played in, you had experienced players that could go, listen, I know you want to overlap. Listen, I know you want to go on and run, but these next 5 or 10 minutes, let's just see this out and then we can grow again. And I just go back, there are experienced players in that team that should be able to control the game better because they're scoring plenty of goals. They've only Manchester City that have scored more than them. But they just, for a neutral, amazing to watch Manchester United week in, week out, because you know you're going to get goals.
Well, that's what Joe said. He said, for us as neutrals, this was just a thriller. I mean, 8 goals apiece. They were, to your point, keep scoring goals, but they're so vulnerable in defence, and that's what has to change if they want to scoop for 3 points more regularly, particularly at home, like tonight was at Old Trafford.
During this half-time interval, let's get straight into it, because, Michael, United made such an impressive fast start, 1-0 inside 13 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, we talked before the game. It'll be interesting to see how they approach this with that extra challenge of these are the games they need to win. I thought they were excellent. I thought the movement between the front three with Bruno joining in, the 2 wing-backs were excellent and fully deserved. Fantastic goal. Great ball by Diogo from the left-hand side. Shows the flexibility and the fluidity again. Ahmad coming inside. Normally he'd play as a wing-back. He'd be where Mbeumo is. But that little bit of flexibility, interchange of positions. They've done it pretty much all half, to be honest. Probably too easy coming in on his right foot there for Diogo, but it's a great ball in, and Ahmad couldn't hope for anything easier, really. I wish I had a few of them.
Yeah.
They were checking,
I had lots of them. I didn't score from any further out.
They were checking there just to make sure Cunha hadn't handled this. That was the delay.
Yes, yeah, because his hand just went up in front of his head there, and he just missed it, didn't he? It didn't look like there was much of a touch, if any, from him there. That was as good a Manchester United performance as I've seen in a long, long time. If they had come in at half-time at 1-1, they'd have been absolutely fuming for how well they played. I know Bournemouth had a little patch, and that 5-minute patch got them a goal. But for the rest of that 40-odd minutes, Manchester United were brilliant. Loads of shots, loads of attacking movements, loads of chances. That was a seriously good performance. As I say, as good as I've seen for a long time. We have a look at a few of the chances there. I mean, that's not even a half a chance. A brilliant effort from Mason Mount with his left foot. But what Michael was showing before the game with the rotation or different people popping up in different areas, it was there and evident. They've continued that Wolves form and actually taken it up a notch, I feel, tonight. If they do that again in the second half, this could be sort of a 5-2 game or something. I mean, they should. That's frustration. They should have scored more than 2 goals.
When you've got a team like that, especially a time that's a hell of a ball and unlucky. But when you've got a team like that and you're playing so well, you do really have to kill them off. And the game just drifted for a few minutes, like Michael said there, and you could sense there was a little bit of hope for Bournemouth, really, and then they obviously ended up capitalising on that, really, but United should have been outside by then.
And just before the goal, they got a little warning, didn't they, when Lemons had to make that save from Tavernier. It was just coming at that stage, you felt. Yeah,
there was just a little bit of drift. I think they were so dominant for, I don't know, probably 20 minutes or so, United, and then Bournemouth just got a bit of territory more than anything, and then I mean, it's a great cross, a run from deep, doesn't get picked up, and fortunate for United, it's straight to the keeper. As a finisher, Michael, he's got to hit the corners, really, as a header.
You'd say so. I mean, he's probably got 2/3 of the goal to aim at this side, hasn't he? Is that where the camera is, basically. And you know me, Steve, that's why I always, when people say you've just got to hit the target, no, you don't. You're a professional footballer, you need to aim for corners most of the time.
What about this, the way they conceded?
Yeah, I was just a bit slow. I think to start with, probably they overloaded one side a little bit too much and kind of left them exposed. You know, Luke goes a little bit too high, probably, and then from when Semenyo gets the ball, that's a long way away from goal to be unchallenged, really, and Heaven's decision to back off, he can back off to a point, but to delay it, but he's got to engage. Mount screaming at him and waving his hand to come and engage. And I mean, we spoke about Semenyo before the game, his danger, and when he's in full flow, and that was him at his very best. But from where he picks up the ball, he shouldn't be getting a shot on goal for me.
It's really poor from Heaven. He has to come across. I mean, the only time, sometimes you do let an attacker shoot. You know, if you're 2 against 1 and you think, right, you know what, he's only a 1 in 5 chance of scoring here, sometimes you do allow them. If they're outside the box, maybe, if they're on a tight angle, maybe. There is no excuse for Heaven not coming out there and just standing in the middle and watching a runner. That was the danger. That was the danger. Go and confront the danger first. It was a really poor decision. Fortunately for Manchester United, they hit back straight away.
They did. We know how dangerous Casemiro is, but Petrovic won't want to see this again in the Bournemouth goal, will he?
No, the goalkeeper will be disappointed. I think for United's point of view, it's well worked. I think it's something they've obviously looked at. There's a block at the back post. Casemiro was probably the target, so it's a great delivery. There's a block, as you see there on the screen, and they work it well and they hit the spot where they want to hit. But really, the goalkeeper will be disappointed when he looks at that.
You know, when people say head the ball down, that is the reason. If he heads that straight into, you know, the goalkeeper parries that away, no problem. But when you bounce it just in front of a goalkeeper coming from that height, it's very, and especially these surfaces nowadays, they wet them before the game, it skids off, and it's hard to judge if it's going to skid, if it's going to bounce. And if you just head it down, it gives goalkeepers all kinds of problems, and that's one of the reasons why people say head it down.
Yep, 10 Premier League goals now for Casemiro. 6 of those have been...
Ya saltan 1K y el barrio. Es determinante cuánto daño puede hacer el conjunto de 1K, sobre todo con Granero en esas primeras de cambio en la salida de escalera. Así que esa parte del partido va a ser absolutamente clave para el equipo de Iker Casillas. Por cierto, felicitar porque ha venido una buena afición de 1K.
Tiene la pelota Gerard Noya en cara, sigue Noya, Noya dispara, Arnalot.
80
paradas ya para Arnalot. Silvidal ataca desde la derecha el número 9. Silvidal con el centro, buena pelota, Arché, con la rodilla le pegó. Pues es el que desatasca un poco el partido, ¿no? Con centros, ojo ahí, se golpeó, el remate, ¡gol! ¡Mar Valiente! izquierda, que es terreno de los cañonazos de Granero, a la que tengo un mínimo de espacio, le pega Granero. Bueno, pues es decirlo, y ahí lo tenemos. El tema es que el remate le ha salido centrado. Abraham, buena pelota, banda derecha. Vamos a ver qué hace ahí Fran Rodríguez, se mete en el área, sigue Fran. ¡Qué bien, Fran! Se va de dos, el remate, ¡fuera!
¡Chicos!
A ver si acierta. ¡Claro que
Mira
sí!
que...
Busca el Barrio el segundo gol. Arché. Arché para Gil. Gil que le puede pegar a este Gil. Buen recorte. Gil al palo. ¡Le manda Arché!
¡Dios! ¡No, no, 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 no!
no!
Madre mía, qué parada. Y a centímetros del remate, ¿eh?
No, la reacción ha sido impresionante. ¡El disparo! ¡Madre de Dios! ¡Otro que vuela! ¡Otro más! Que está la pelota para John de la Cruz, la quiere levantar, vuelve a pegar la pelota en el cuerpo de un jugador del Barrio, el remate con la puntera y acaba deteniendo a Gerard Vacas. Será córner favorable a 1K. Bueno, a ver.
Gol doble.
Gol doble. A ver, saque de banda. Balón puesto en movimiento, intentaba rematar más valiente, el remate, ¡gol! ¡Bauer! ¡Gol!
Y es
penalti
¡madre
normal.
mía lo de los penaltis!
Penalti normal. Y el que quiere hacer el 0-3 es el número 4, pega valiente. ¡Vaya cañón! ¡Gol! Ahí están Arnalot y Vacas como candidatos, como guardametas, y también Mar Valiente y Pau Ferojo la recuperación. Tiene la pelota al Barrio que puede sentenciar el remate. ¡Gol!
Knockout.
¡Gol!
¡Let's go, Barria! Ponme el 5, ponme el 5, ponme el 5.
El cambio del partido ha sido radical en los últimos 10 minutos. El balón que lo tiene. ¡Ojo!
¡Ay, ay, 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 ay! Jaimitada.
Marca de nuevo el Barrio, gol de Fran Fuentes. El equipo de Juan Arroita, que no ganaba un encuentro con esta tranquilidad, entre comillas, al final, con un margen tan amplio, con 2 goles dobles que han hecho pasar el partido del 0-3 al 0-7.
Paufer, ha costado, pero por fin ha llegado esa victoria tan deseada con goleada.
Ha costado mucho, pero bueno, le damos emoción hasta el momento final, recta final, y ahora, pase lo que pase con Pío, nos lo jugaremos contra ellos.
Eso te iba a decir, pase lo que pase con Pío, la semana que viene, o ellos, o tú, o tu ex equipo, o tú.
Bueno, o el Barrio o ellos, pero sí. La vida, yo qué sé, no sé, son cosas muy raras que suceden, pero ahí estaremos. Ahora estoy en el Barrio, así que espero que gane el Barrio.
Enhorabuena y a disfrutarlo.
Gracias.